everyone, Yensid Organist here, and welcome to another episode of OrgelCraft. Hope you guys are having a great day today, and Merry Christmas to you. This is the episode that is coming out on Christmas Day. We don't have the Minecraft Christmas chest because I'm recording this ahead of time, but yes. So, can you guess where I'm standing? Well, okay, obviously I'm in the back of the Star Destroyer. Another challenge has been completed. We now have the ridiculously rare blue axolotl. So, spent a couple of streams breeding up axolotls trying to get a blue one, and we actually significantly beat the odds, because the odds are 1 in 1,200 of getting a blue axolotl from breeding, and we actually only we did it in 1/10 because we got it around 112. Yeah, so that was a fun little project on stream. I then unleashed all of my non-blue axolotls on the tropical ocean, and carnage ensued. But yeah, so here is the tank that I have done up for them. Obviously, you know, this is the conquering of the rare mob. So my decoration was rare items. So if you look at the back wall there, you can see we've got some ore blocks, we've got some ancient debris. Our little marker on the back is made with gilded blackstone, and then of course I have most of the precious resources. I realized after I put this all together that I didn't have coal, but coal's pretty easy to find. I realized most of these are fairly easy to get. Yes, but you'll notice in the beginning, in the middle here is a little pyramid of netherite, and no, this is not hollow in the center. It is actually 10 blocks of netherite. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but there it is. And then if we look over here at the edge, yes, there's some sand. Yes, there's some gravel. Take a closer look. That is suspicious sand and suspicious gravel. So I had a lot of fun getting all of the stuff for that. And then, of course, floor and ceiling made with dark prismarine, which not necessarily difficult to obtain, but expensive. So I thought that would be a cool way to decorate this tank. Yeah. Also, I don't know why this torch is still here. Oh, yes, I do. It's because I haven't actually done my lighting. You'll notice some buttons on the floor. The buttons are for entertainment purposes, because you hit one of these, and there goes a fish, and there goes an axolotl to get it. And so then I have that at each one of these. You can come through and hit the button, and hopefully it comes out where you can see it. There it goes. And then one more over here. Of course, if the axolotls are close, the fish are not going to get far. So yeah, so you can feed an axolotl. So that is that challenge finished. And so ow, did not make that clearly. So let's come in here, and we can check off challenge number 2, the rare blue axolotl. And so today we are going to be working on conquering the seas. So we are going to be going after dolphin and glow squid. So before we can do that, we've got some prep work that needs to be done, starting with a massive tank for these mobs to get here. So I'm going to use this area here, and I'm thinking a pretty big tank. We already have about 50 blocks wide. I'm intending to do probably a bit deeper than these ones. I don't know. These are not the same size. So yeah, so let me get to work on building the tank for all of this, and then we'll get to the actual challenge of bringing the mobs here. Guys, I think there's something wrong with my computer. I logged into Minecraft, and all I see is this. Okay, I'm just messing with you. It's the tank. Alright, Star Wars fans, what does this say? I'll show you so it doesn't have the glass in the way. I will give you a hint. It is a Star Wars quote, and it is related to aquatic life. So take your guesses down in the comments, or, punch it into an Aurebesh translator and find out what it says. Anyway, the dolphin tank is done. Calculated this out to real-world equivalent, and this is about a 5.7 million gallon tank. So that is that, and then I have a staircase down somewhere. Here is the cave grotto that I have for the glow squid. I might throw some tropical fish in here as well. It's still lit because I didn't want Enderman spawning in there, but obviously we will flood that with water when the time comes. And apparently there's still a back door, so we'll need to fix that. But yeah, so that is the little cave that I came up with here, and kind of had it spilling out into the viewing area. I thought that was kind of a cool little effect there. So yeah, so we have the tanks done now. I feel like, though, this is missing something. And yes, I know it's missing water. I think we need something in here. A shipwreck. So I went out, found one in the ocean, and brought it here. Wasn't doing much at the bottom of the sea, so it now will be at the bottom of the tank. I've made some modifications to it. I went through and filled any holes that I could find, so that the dolphins don't manage to get themselves stuck in a place they can't get out of. At least that's the hope. I haven't tested this in creative, but hopefully they won't get stuck. We should be okay. So, yeah, all right. Next course of action is I need to get these tanks filled, and of course this one I'm going to add some vegetation to as well. So there's going to be some kelp and seagrass, and I'm also going to put some coral in here, but I can't do that until it is filled with water. So I've got a few buckets to place down. Let me get to that. And then comes the fun part, actually wrangling the mobs to the tanks. And our tank is complete. So I've got coral, I've got seagrass, I've got some sea pickles, and then I have kelp growing up kind of around the edges. I did about a half a stack's worth of it. We'll have to see once it grows up if it's going to be enough. I wanted to keep it toward the walls so that it didn't overly dominate the area, but we will just have to kind of see how that goes, if there's enough, if we need more, as it grows up. But yeah, so that is all done. The water is all filled. Same is done down here. And actually, saying that, I wanted to add some glow lichen to this lower tank just to give it a little bit of a glow. So while we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about the challenge of keeping dolphins alive. So dolphins are kind of a unique mob. Is that all I have? 57? No, I have a whole shulker box worth in Minecraft, in that they need both water and air to survive. Now, if you are a fan of the Hermitcraft series, you may recall they were attempting to build this basically like super highway using dolphins. And Grian was attempting to transport a whole bunch of dolphins for this project, and they kept dying on him. And so there was this issue of, well, when dolphins get out of a certain range, their AI stops working, which means if you get to a point where their AI is no longer working, then if they are underwater at the time, they'll just stop moving, which means they can't come up for air, which means they would eventually suffocate. So this has been kind of a thought of, oh, it's really difficult to keep dolphins alive because if you get out of a certain range, they will, they'll suffocate. So that is something that I took into consideration as I was preparing for this challenge. And so I did a lot of testing in my creative test world to figure out how we could keep the dolphins alive. And my first thought was, well, what we can do is, because this is an area that's going to kind of be isolated, from the rest of the Star Destroyer, basically what we would do is we would have it as a completely contained room, and then when we left the room, basically what I would do was I was planning to have the entire bottom of the area be soul sand, so that basically what would happen is whenever we left the area, the soul sand would get pushed up so that everything was source blocks, and then it would just push the dolphins to the top, where they would be basically bouncing on the top of the water. So they would be getting, the water that they needed, but then they would also, they'd also be able to breathe. So I jumped into my creative testing world, and I tried a whole bunch of different things. I tried soul sand. I tested out just normal, what am I saying? Just like normal water. I tried water with no air at all. And so started testing, and, went like out of range for them. Came back and they were all gone. I was like, well, that's not good. So I tried a couple other things, just trying to get that to work, and they kept disappearing on me. And I was like, well, this is good, so it doesn't matter what I do, the dolphins are just going to die on me. Well, then I realized that dolphins, when you get a certain amount of distance away from them, despawn. So I realized, oh, this is going to be a problem. Okay, so that worked out. I then went in and so I name tagged all of them so that they wouldn't despawn. I don't like this, but I feel like we have enough glow lichen in there now. I think that looks pretty good. So I have to do something about the lighting in here so that it's not so bright out here, but that will come when we get to the room design. So anyway, I went back in and I, let's see. I think my blackstone is in there. Yep, there we go. So I went in, I name tagged all the mobs, and then redid my tests. So, soul sand, air, just normal, and then no air. And, oh no, that's not gonna be good. Nope. Wonder if we can catch it. Where is it gonna come? Where is it gonna come? Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I get it? Did I get it? I got it. Look at that. Professional Minecrafter right here. Yeah. So the first thing I did was apparently knock the torch out. So now all of the... Oh, right, because there would have been a torch up here. And when the water came in, then it would have gone away. All right, you can't... No. You have to walk off the edge. Goodbye. Ooh, that was a close one. Let's see. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? Sure, that's fine. Yeah, so I started by going until, I was out of a distance where, their AI should stop working. So basically I go until they just disappear just due to how far away they render. Well, you know what? I'm going to leave this glow lichen in here. And that way, if I want more, I have it. I'm also going to leave the bone meal here so that we have that as well. Yeah, so I went just out of render distance and, sat there for about 5 minutes. Came back in, all the dolphins were still alive. I was like, okay, so their AI is still working. So even though they're not rendered, it still works for them to be in there. I said, okay, so the next thing is let's go beyond the simulation distance. So I did that, and sat for another 5 minutes, come back, and once again, they're all still alive. So then I went ridiculously far out, beyond render distance, beyond simulation distance, same thing. Came back, and they were all still alive. And I did this multiple times, and, just basically, anything I could think of, that could potentially cause them to, die due to, running out of air. And nothing that I did caused them to die. Every single time I came back, all of my dolphins were still alive, regardless of, the circumstances. And they were all in tanks where, they should have been able to survive. So, so then I decided to do a little bit of digging, into what was going on with HermitCraft, and I didn't find I didn't find any definitive answer, but I did find an explanation that basically sounds like one of the performance mods that they use on HermitCraft basically causes certain mobs' AI to shut down within, after a certain distance, and it's less than the simulation distance. If we look at a normal, what am I looking for? Video settings. If we look at our normal settings, the farthest I can go down is 5 chunks. Anything outside of that, we can't do anything less than that. Well, apparently on HermitCraft, it sounds like they have, a mod that will allow them to decrease that AI distance or the simulation distance, or something to do with the mob AIs, and that appears to be what was causing Grian's dolphins to die. So theoretically, we should be fine. There's plenty of air at the top of this tank. I have 7 blocks up at the top, and then, of course, massively massive tank here. I think the only danger we are in of actually losing a dolphin here is were they to get stuck under any of this. And obviously, I will closely monitor this as we are starting to pull the dolphins in, to make sure that is not happening. I already went through and hopefully dolphin-proof the ship, so that they're not swimming inside and getting stuck. But yeah, so we will keep an eye on all of that. But yes, so we should be good to go. So now we are to the point where we need to actually go and bring the mobs in. Now we'll need a couple of things first in order to get this to work. We are going to need a transport system, which is basically going to be a water channel that's going to bring to the lower channel, and then eventually we'll divert it for the upper one. I think we're going to do the glow squid first, and then we'll do dolphins from there. But we need to find a stronghold that is actually relatively near an ocean, because none of mine currently are. I've found 2 in the world, and none of them are overly close. So we're going to need to go and do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do one of them organically. Let's see, how many ender pearls do I have? A lot. I can always get way more. And then theoretically somewhere I have blaze rods. I might have put them in with light. Aha, yes. So we'll just grab that and that. So I figure I'm going to do one search organically and see if we can actually find a stronghold that will, that will be near an ocean. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to pop into Chunk Base and I'm just going to find one that suits our needs. so that we can get one and be able to do this relatively easily. Obviously, we're still going to have some work to do setting up systems to move the mobs, but yeah. So I guess we will head to the overworld, and we're going to need to pick a spot to start our stronghold search. So let's do that right now. So I thought the best place to start the search for a stronghold would be over here at the Guardian Farm. We have an ocean, and I thought that it was a fairly large biome. It's not quite as big as I remember, and that just could be because I have pruned some of the chunks around here. But let's see. This is a decent enough distance away from our main stronghold, so we'll see what we come up with. So going that way. Wow, that was very close to falling all the way down there. All right, the journey begins. So, based on flying distance, we've come to the end of the ocean. And still going this way. Oh, but it does look like the ocean continues, so we might be okay. Well, the direction has changed and has moved towards this slowly loading in jungle. Oh, it looks like we are very close indeed, because I tossed a pearl from that island. So we should be relatively close. This seems like it is about it. So, time to do the Minecrafty thing of dig straight down. So apparently this wasn't quite it. Let's see here. Where does that go? It's just going up this way. So, should be relatively close. Yeah, probably just going to have to dig through the walls here. And there we go. Yeah, realizing that it could be at any possible height, I decided I would just go try digging down in a little bit of a different area. And here we go. Okay, so, gotta go find the end portal. And then the real prep work begins. Sweet. Okay. First order of business. Goodbye, lava. Alright, so the next thing that I need to do is open up a passageway down here so that we can start bringing things in. I've got some prep work I need to do, so let me go do that, and I will bring you guys back when we are ready to start moving our mobs. Well, this turned out to be a much easier process than I thought it was going to be, because the ocean is literally right here. So, I have a bit of a hole dug down there, and it's raining. I just slept. Ah, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, yes, so we have the hole right here that we will be able to bring the dolphins down and just drag them right into the end portal there. I think that I actually want to, I want to block off this side just to be on the safe side. And so hopefully we'll be able to just nudge them in from there. Yeah, but so I think we should be good to go. I set up, a passageway on the other side, where we should hopefully, fingers crossed, be able to get our dolphins fairly easily transported to their new home. So now we have to go find a dolphin. There was one in here as I was working, but, you know, you never know where they're going to end up. So we're going to go see if we can find one. I'm going to start by doing just one at a time, and then we'll go from there. I have name tags for 12. I kind of want to see how it looks after we get maybe 5 in into the tank, and then we can decide from there how many we actually want. But of course, we need to find them first. Sea turtle, not quite what I'm looking for. I guess we could put a sea turtle in the tank. Could you put a sea turtle and a dolphin together? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we need to find one, and of course, now that I'm looking, none are to be found. Here's a dolphin. Where'd it go? I just saw it. That's a turtle. Just saw one jumping around. Where did it go? There it is. 2 of them. Okay. So let's go ahead and name tag you. And then let's grab you with a lead. And actually, let's try 2 since we're here. And we've got 2 of them. Let's see if we can get both of them. Okay, that one got a name. And now we just need to get it on a lead. There we go. And they should follow along pretty easily. I'm a little surprised Dolphin's Grace hasn't kicked in. Hopefully we can get them to just come right down here. And then, okay, I'm gonna need... Oh, I left myself a spot right here. Oh, oh, there went one. One went on its own, that's good. Let's see if we can get the other one pulled along here. And there they go. Okay, so they should be fine on the other side. I don't know if they will still be on the leads when we get over here. Yes, they are both on the leads. Okay, so now we can just swoop. So the problem is I don't have... I don't have water in the corners, which may end up being a problem. But hopefully we get them pulled up here just fine. There's one. Okay, I think I might need water. I wasn't sure about this. I seem to be having a little bit of trouble pulling them up and over. So let's go ahead and put some water there and there. There we go. Okay. You need to come up here. Come on. Come on. Want that water there. Come on. You gotta come up. You can do it. There we go. Okay. Alright. So now we'll just bring him down here. I can't see a thing. I still have leads attached, though. So hopefully they have enough room. They're getting enough air in here. This is the only thing that's a little bit of a concern, is whether or not they're going to have enough air for this part of the journey. But here we go. Come on. This way. This one's a little bit shorter. This one I might be able to swim up. Sort of. Problem is I keep hitting the walls. This is also not water sources, so that's going to make it a little bit difficult. Okay. Now we just got to get them up and over. Go slowly here. Hopefully pull them up. There's one. And there's the other. In you go. Leads off. 1 and 2. And there they go. They should be all set. Now, the only other thing I'm worried about is if they were to try to climb up here and possibly swim back up and in, but I think they'll be okay. So, alright, that's a success. Let's go get a few more. So, in spite of all my testing, dolphins are dying. I have brought 6 here so far. 2 of them have died. Look at these 2 up in the back. I have been watching them for the last several minutes, and they are just here. They are not moving. They're just stuck. They occasionally spin around, but that's it. Now, the other two are swimming around just fine. This one here is swimming around. This one there. They're going up. These two are not moving. And if you look over here, there's a couple of fish. So clearly they have died. Now, I don't know why these two are not swimming around like the others. The only thought that I have is that there are too many entities in the area, and so it has basically shut down their AI. Now, I don't know why. Like I said, I've been watching these for a couple of minutes, and they haven't started to take suffocate. Oh, now there it went. So that one just went, but this one is just sitting here still. So I'm not really sure what is going on with that, but I don't want to bring any more here until I have a more conclusive answer as to why their AIs are causing them to just stick. So, yeah, I think we're going to put this on hold for a little bit. And, oh, and now the other one went. So, yeah, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more research and testing before I bring any more here. Because obviously, it's kind of pointless if they keep dying. So if we can only have a couple in here, then, well, we only have a couple in here. But we will see. So yeah, so I'm gonna do a little bit more research on that and see where it goes. And then there was one. So I AFK'd here for a couple hours, no problems. I AFK'd here for a couple of hours and had one left. On the bright side, I got some iron. I have no idea, and I've done a bunch more research online. I can find nothing conclusive. The best suggestion that I could come across was put a block of soul sand in every 5x5 area. And that said, you probably will still lose some, but you have a better chance of keeping them alive. The other thing that I saw was 10 blocks of air above the water, which we have 7. Everything that I have read, like from the technical side, has said I think it's 4 blocks, so I don't think that's the issue. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if the tank is too deep. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they got stuck. I mean, obviously I wasn't recording as I was AFKing, so I have no way of knowing that. Yeah, so I think we are going to put a pause on this project and focus on the one that at least won't die when we bring them in, which will be the glow squid. So I'm going to head back to the overworld. I did find an underground cave, a flooded cave near the end gateway, so it'll just be a matter of making a connection to that portal so that we can bring them up here. So I have to say that I thought this was going to be a fairly easy project. Find the glow squid, name it, and drag it to the end, drag it up to the tank. These are, quite possibly, one of the most annoying mobs I have ever had to move. They will follow a lead, but they will also try to follow their own path, and unless your two paths align, it is very difficult to convince them to go where you want them to. They have absolutely no sense of self-preservation, and in many cases will actively work against their own self-interest. So yes, where I thought these weren't going to be much of a challenge, they were quite a challenge indeed. But I am glad to have successfully managed to get, I think, 10 or 11. Oh, over here. Now we have to go save this one because it will try to it will try to kill itself. I tell you, you know, you try to help them go the best way, and they will fight tooth and nail. Well, okay, I guess maybe tooth and nail is the wrong... Oh, they're both going to get stuck in the door. I had this happen once before. We got to get one through the door. There we go. And then we should be able to pull our last one, Bot Quaid, who suggested this mob, whose charged creeper killed me. So, at least there is now a glow squid living in here named Bot Quaid. Yes, but yeah, so, you know, you try to help them and they fight tooth and nail, or I guess in their case, tentacle and sucker, you know, against you. But yeah, so here we have them all. I think I lost a lead. At this point, I don't care. But if we pop over here, we should see all of them in here. Now, they're not being very creative in where they're going. They're all bunched up. They have this huge tank that they could swim around. They all want to swim over here. But it should be safe. There should be no air pockets anywhere. So, you know, they might go somewhere and get stuck, but they just have to stay in water. So that shouldn't be a problem. So I do want to add some tropical fish in here as well. Oh, I see my lead. Well, maybe I'll get it on the way back. So I think that I'm going to go and get some of those to fill that out. I'm curious if our last dolphin is still here after my wrangling of the squid, and it is not. Okay, so we're going to have to revisit this project down the road. But let me go grab a few tropical fish, and then we will wrap this episode up. Tropical fish have been acquired. I did my best to pick ones that would kind of match the color scheme. There are some that don't quite match, but yeah, I think they add some nice character to this. Honestly, we could probably use a few hundred more in there, but I think that this will do. Honestly, the trouble with tropical fish is the more you have, the more that they tend to just clump in one area. So, yeah, so that will do. So as far as our challenge to conquer the water goes, dolphin is still up in the air, but glow squid, apparently the strike through doesn't copy over. But the glow squid has been checked off the list. So we will have to revisit this probably sometime soon, because I don't want to leave this water column here forever. But that'll be something that I will look into for the future. Next episode, we are not going to be working on the Star Destroyer. I have another project in mind, because that is my actual Christmas break project, and I've got something pretty big, pretty ambitious that I am going for. So you will just have to stay tuned to see what that is. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, I would encourage you to subscribe and make sure you click that little notification bell so you can stay up to date on all my latest posts. Thanks for watching, have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you in 2024.